Hi everybody, my name's Sadie Hennessy and I'm a collage artist, and I have made a little video for you here today with an idea for a project that you can do in your own house, in your own time, to kill a bit of time whilst we're in the lockdown. So this is the Lockdown Collage Club. I hope you enjoy it. It's all shot in my extension here with my dog around and my children around, so it's very, very amateur, but anyway, it's hopefully going to be quite good fun. Before we start, you're going to need a materials list. So I've made one here. So let's have a look. Materials. Here they come. Materials. One box. Cereal box. Scissors. Black paint. PVA glue. Paper, any colour. Paper scraps. Sequins and decorative things. Wire or matchsticks or wool. Got that? The project we're going to work on today is the Lockdown Butterfly Collection. And we're basically going to make a box of butterflies like you might see in a museum. And in order to get that just right and to make it look really good, we're going to look at some butterflies. Step one. First of all, first thing you've got to do is find yourself a box, a cereal box. I've got a box of bran flakes here. We absolutely never ever use bran flakes, so there's still quite a lot of them in there. But you have to take out the bran flakes, put them back in the cupboard, and they'll probably never get eaten. And then you look at your box. Oh, there's still some bran flakes in there, so I'll shake them out because we don't want those in our project. Right, so first thing you have to do is stick down the lid here, which I'm going to do. I've got some masking tape, but you could also do that with sellotape if that's all you had. So I'm just going to stick that down so that it doesn't open up. I've got some normal sellotape here too, so I'll just get that and just stick that on there so the whole box is sealed up. Oh, lost the end of the sellotape now. Never mind, try a bit more with the masking tape. Go like that. So the box is completely nicely sealed. Step two. So you've got your box, bran flakes box, all nicely stuck down. And what you need to get is a craft knife or a pair of scissors. I'm going to use a craft knife because I've got one, but you don't have to. And what you're going to do, if you can see this, is make a little cut. And we're basically going to cut all the way around the box. So we're cutting a little window in the box, if you see what I mean. Once you've made the original cut, it's easier actually to do it with scissors. So that's what I'm going to do. And if you're quite young, you're probably better off asking a grown-up to do the actual cutting for you, or at least to help you. I know that can be a bit annoying, but safety first. So I'm just cutting this out quite roughly to begin with some quite sharp scissors, just because that is easier. So keep cutting. By step three, I should put this down, and here we go. Here is the box, a lovely box, which I have, you'll see I've cut all the way along the edge, so it's really neat and even. And I did that just with normal scissors. And the next step is to paint the box. So I've got some black acrylic paint, but you can use whatever you've got. If you've got house paint, that's fine. I think it looks good with a really dark paint, but it's up to you what colour you use. But I personally like black, so I'm going to do mine in black. I've got a nice thick brush because it's a bit boring painting things. So I'm just going to slather it on all the way, not on the inside, just on the outside of the box to make it look like an old-fashioned museum case. Basically, that's what we're trying to do. So as they say, this is a bit like watching paint dry, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're just going to paint all over, you see. Right, where are we? Step 3. This is the next bit. Now I've painted my box black, as you can see. Still a bit wet, but I'm too excited. I just wanted to carry on. So we'll imagine that that has now completely dried, which it hasn't, but never mind. And the next thing we're going to do is line the box. So you're going to rest it on a piece of paper and draw around it with a pencil. And then I'm going to cut that out, which you will see me do in a second with my huge selection of scissors. So I'm going to cut out some paper. Now this can be any colour you want, or you can just put white paper in there and paint it. Whatever you think would be a good backing for your museum case, which is essentially what we're making. I want to make it look like a nice old-fashioned museum case. So I've got a kind of creamy paper there, because I'm quite keen on cream. And I'm just poking it into the box. So just making sure it fits. And as I say, you can put any colour in there that you like. And in a minute I'm going to give you another little tip to make it look really good. But that's the first step, is to put that. Step 4. So we've got our lovely painted box and we've lined it with whatever colour paper we feel like. And I'm just going to show you a little tip, which I use a lot when I'm making collages. And it's not necessary to do this process, but it's quite nice and it's a good tip to learn. And this is I'm going to stain this paper to make it look more old-fashioned. Top tip! I steeped a tea bag in some hot water, which I've squeezed my tea bag onto my PVA glue, which is on a paper plate. And I'm going to get a brush, which is now clean, because I actually went and washed it. And I'm going to stir the tea and the glue together. Looks a bit disgusting. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just stirring them in together. And in a minute I'm going to just paint the paper at the back of my box, because I want to make it look all old-fashioned and antique. You don't have to do this, but this is just a little extra process that you might want to. So I'm just going to paint that in, and it's just going to sort of stain it a bit and make it look old, which is quite nice. Make it look a bit more authentic, like you might have found it in an old museum or art gallery somewhere. Or in an antique shop. Could have been something you found on a market or in a junk shop. So literally just doing that on the back of the paper to make it look a bit older. And when we've done that, you'll obviously need to leave that to dry, but that's fine, because we've got things we can be getting on with whilst that's drying. If it's not quite dark enough, you can just do it again. It's getting quite a few stripes in there, which don't look great, so do the effect. Whatever you think works, really. Right, now we've got our box. The next thing we need to do is actually to work out how many butterflies we can fit in our box, because obviously everybody's box is going to be a different size. So have a good old look at it. Maybe take a ruler. Now I could probably get 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 if they're all quite small. So I'm going to cut out a little shape, roughly the size I'm thinking. Let's see. That's just from the cereal packet. Could I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could get about 6 of that sort of size in, so I'm just going to measure that for myself, just so I've got an idea of how big that is. So that's about 2.5 centimetres. Are they centimetres or inches? No, those are inches. 2.5 inches by about 2 inches. So that's roughly the size I want my butterflies to be. Because there's no point in making them and then finding they're too big. Or if you preferred, you can do one great big one in your box. It's entirely up to you. But I'm going to go for 6 little butterflies of around 2 inches each. Right, step 6. This is where you have to do a bit of a treasure hunt, because you need to go around your house and you need to find all the bits and postcards and photos and things that you're going to use to make butterflies for your butterfly case. So I've just made a tray up here. I've got pages from magazines, pages from plant catalogues, old postcards, not precious family photos, but that's just a photo from an old film star annual from the 1950s I happen to have lying around. Obviously don't cut anything valuable up. Another old magazine. I really like using these old magazines, but you can use modern magazines. What else have I got here? Oh, that's an old food cookery magazine. Postcards. I found this pack of what are they called? Raffle tickets. I thought they might be quite nice to use, so I've got them in my pile. Got them on my lovely Corona tray, which seem very appropriate. And I've also got nail varnish. Found a little bit of glitter. Found a few sequins there. Some matchsticks. All these things will come in handy. There's another old postcard. If you have any wire, that's really useful, because we're going to make the antennae out of the wire. I've even got a rubber squid, which I'm going to cut up to make antennae. I don't expect you've all got rubber squids in your house, but if you have, that could be useful. Got a little bit of glitter off the Christmas tree there. So I'm basically just collecting as many bits and bobs as I can possibly find, because that's what we're going to use to make the beautiful butterflies in our butterfly case. So I'll put them all back now, and we will move on to that stage in a minute. Okay, now we're going to try step 7. Ooh. Right, now remember we worked out how big we want our butterflies. This is my little square, just to remind me. And we get a little piece of paper from a magazine, find a bit that looks like it's got a nice design on it, square over it, just to give me a rough guide. So cut out a square of magazine. It doesn't have to be exact at all, but just keep in mind the sort of size that you were aiming for. Then a little square in half with a big crease down the middle, just like that. Now you might want to draw first, or you might just want to do this freehand. I'm going to draw it the first time. I'm going to just draw half a butterfly. I'll do it on the table, then I'll hold it up. There you go, like that. Then a big wing, and then down, and another wing, and then the sort of little thorax bit. So I've drawn on there. You probably can't see it because I've just done it in pencil, but I'll cut it out and then you'll see. So I've still got the paper folded, and I'm cutting along where I've drawn with my pencil, and cutting it all the way around. And there's the little kind of head bit, and then I'll open it up, and you can see it's sort of a bit like a butterfly, or you could use that side if you preferred. Anyway, if you're not happy with the shape, do another one, or you can trim it. You can do whatever you like. But for the box my size, I need 6. I don't know if you need 6, but if you need 6, we need to do that 6 times. So there's the cutout. It's quite pretty. So I'm going to do another one now. Oh, what shall I use? I think I'll have a go at doing the raffle tickets, because I've never done that before, and that sounds quite funny. So I'll cut out 4 raffle tickets. There we go. And I'll fold them in half. Same technique. I'm going to draw it again because I'm not very confident about my butterfly cutting. Big wing. And you can try and do like a swallowtail. Some butterflies are like that. Have a look at some pictures of butterflies to give you some inspiration. They don't all have to be the same. I mean, it'd be really nice if they're all different in your butterfly case. So this is going to be the pink raffle ticket butterfly. Let's see what this looks like. And I'm just using this really to show you can use absolutely anything you can find in your house. even like receipts, old bills, letters. There we are, it's a little numbery butterfly. So I've done 2. I'm going to do another one. Let me see what else I've got on my little pile here. Oh, that might be interesting. Found an old postcard. Probably get 2 out of that one. But I'll do 1 to begin with. I'll cut it in half. Obviously, as I said before, don't cut anything valuable. You'll end up regretting it. If you had old photos that nobody wanted, it would be fun to use them, but make sure nobody wants them. There we go. I think that might be a bit round, but we can always trim it down if it's no good. So just keep cutting and trimming till you're happy with your butterfly shapes. There's another one. That might be a bit big actually, that one. Well, I'll keep it for now. If it's too big, I'll make a smaller one. Right, what shall I use next? Oh, I'm going to have a go with him. So I've got my template to remind me not to get too big. So I'm holding it over his face so I get the right size. Okay. Oh, that's quite good because he's got eyes. So fold that over. Draw my butterfly on again. Taking in his whole face. And you can always draw, if you're really happy with one of your butterflies, you can always draw around it as a template for another one. I think it's nice if they're all a bit different. There we go. How's that panning out? How does that look? I think it looks quite good. Okay. Another old postcard. Maybe I'll try that just for something different. Oh, that's quite tricky to cut actually, that one, but I'll give it a try. I'll just do this one freehand, I think. So I'm getting quite confident now. Though I can see this one's going to be really rubbish. I should have drawn it first. Never mind. Could be okay. Maybe I think it's better upside down. That's quite nice. It's got a little bridge on it there. I'm going to do one more. I think I need a bit more colour, so I'm going to find something a bit more colourful in my tray. Excuse me. Oh, I know. Here we are. Got the lovely plant catalogue. Let's do something from here. It's a picture of sweet peas, which I imagine attract a lot of butterflies anyway. You could also use, you could use newspaper, or you could use tissue paper that you can cut up really. Now that one's really weird. I don't think that looks like a butterfly at all. I think that's a bit too big, so I'm going to actually trim that one down. I think I was getting a bit overconfident there. There we go. I might make this one really little actually. I think it was a bit too big. Yeah, that's better. A bit sweeter. It was like a huge big moth before, now it's like a little butterfly. Okay, so now hold them up. I've got 6 basic butterflies, and the next stage is going to be to decorate them, which we shall do in a second. We're going to do step 8, and this is the really fun bit because we're going to start decorating our butterflies. So we've got a lovely little selection of cut out butterflies, some glue, PVA glue, famous, and maybe a little brush, and then a selection of bits and bobs found from around the house. And the idea is that we start to decorate the little butterflies. Make sure the crease is quite pronounced because we want them to stand up a bit when they're in their box. So this has already got eyes on, which I think is fantastic. So I'm going to put a couple of little sequins that I happen to have. Literally, you can do it with anything. I just luckily found some sequins in a drawer. Oh, that's not a very good brush. I'm going to use my fingers again. As you can see, I like getting in a mess. So I'm going to put a couple of little sequins on here. I've put black sequins on, so it's like a little black and white butterfly. I quite like that, just like that, so I'm going to leave that one, but let's find a more colourful one. So I've got this little beauty, sort of pink one, and I think that might be nice with some, oh I know, I've got this metallic nail varnish, so I'm going to put some dots of metallic nail varnish on there, just to make it more butterfly-y, if there is such a word. Can you see that? Put that on there. Maybe some little markings all around the edge. This is quite nice because it's really metallic-y looking. A lovely smell of pear drops. Put a little bit more on the edge there. Okay, what shall I do with my raffle ticket butterfly? I think just make sure the crease is nice and stiff. Right, let's put some, oh I know, I've got these, I think they're called bugle beads. Bugle beads on there somewhere, so put a little bit of glue on in the middle there. I'm just sticking some little, can't really see, but I'm sticking some little beads on there just for a bit of extra decoration. Some little beads, and I think I might put a tiny little bit of glitter on that one, which I happen to have in my drawer. I didn't have a lot of stuff, but I was trying to do this with things that were in the house already, because that's the whole idea. When you're under lockdown, you don't want to go out shopping, so you just got to work with what you've got. I'm going to use a little matchstick there to just apply a little gentle amount of glitter. There we go. Just a little smattering, just to make it nice and bright. Okay, this is a strange one. I think I'm going to put some pink sequins on this one, just to make that really stand out. Use my knife, actually use my scissors to cut the sequins up. They're all on a string, so they're quite difficult to get off, but I'm sure we'll succeed. There we go. Put a little bit of them. They've got rather sticky. They've just been in a drawer, so they're not looking their best. Okay. Got that. Might just stick that down the middle for a little bit of detail. So really, you can do whatever you like. You can make them as, that looks a bit like a caterpillar in the middle, so that's quite good. You can make them as complicated as you feel like, or keep them really simple. You can draw on them, you can cut things out, you can stick things. Oh, here's some golden nail varnish. Let's see if I can open that one. I've got some black as well. Might use that too. So there we go. That's quite nice. That's sort of goldy. So I'll pop that one there. Two more, I know. Here's some very, very dark green nail varnish that is gone a bit gloopy. It's too gloopy to use as nail varnish, but it might work quite well as a butterfly decoration. So I'm just blobbing that on the wing there. Now obviously I'm doing this quite quickly because I'm just trying to show you the possibilities, but the more time you spend on your butterfly, the more detailed it is, the more beautiful it'll be basically. So definitely worth doing. Let's see, maybe a tiny little bit of glitter on this one too. Maybe, yeah, just scatter it. I'm going to just put it across the top there. Put a little smattering on like that. There we are. So my last one, what shall I do for this one? Oh, I think I'll go back to the black sequins. I haven't got that much stuff here because I was just getting things ready quite quickly. but you can spend more time. Now you know what you're actually meant to be doing. You can really take your time and do it in a lot of detail. Okay, I might put 4 on that one. Just to... Okay, so there you go, another little one. So now you've got to wait for those to dry, and then we're going to put some exciting antennae on. By the way, you can take more time decorating your butterflies. I'm sure yours will be a lot better than mine. Step 9, put some antennae on. So I've got some very, very fine jewellery wire here, which looks really nice. But I mean, you might not have such a thing in your house, but I just happen to have that. So I'm going to do my first one with that. So you see, I've just folded it in half. I don't know if that's probably a little bit too long. So I'll trim it slightly. And I'm going to take my butterfly, place the wire on the back of the butterfly, and then get a tiny little bit of sellotape, because no one is actually going to see this. It's on the back. Got my sellotape here, and I'm just sticking the wire onto the sellotape on the back there, and I'll spread the wires out a bit like that, and there you go, there's that one done. So let me, I'll put that one there, then you might be able to see it a bit like that. Right, if you have, I've got some wool here, so I thought I'd give it a try with a bit of wool. Excuse me. So double it in half again, like that. Put it on the back. Get your little piece of sellotape. Got the sellotape. And just, and there we go. That looks quite sweet. Another one. What else could we use? Oh, well, I've got my famous rubber squid, which I'm going to cut a couple of little tentacles off. Oh, that one's a bit thin. Let's try another one. So I've got these little rubbery things. I think I'll stick that one on him. Not quite sure where's the top and which is the bottom. Doesn't really matter. So I've got that on the back there. Going to get another little bit of sellotape. Well, I would if my sellotape hadn't lost the end. Oh gosh, that's so annoying, isn't it? Well, I might fast forward this bit because that is really boring watching me looking for the end of some sellotape. Okay, there we go. Got it. Okay, that's about to be the most boring thing you've ever seen in your life. Here we go. Got little little ones on there that look quite nice. Okay, what else could we use? Let me see what else I've got. Oh, I know. I've got a couple of matches. They make quite good little tentacles. So I'm going to stick some matches on there. Same thing. Get the sellotape. Oh gosh, luckily I've left a bit of end this time, so you don't have to sit through that again. I might need 2 bits of sellotape for this because the matches are a bit heavier than the one. There we go. You see? There we are. Little bits. Right, one more. Well, I think I'll put the wire on since I've got it, but you can use whatever you like. It's a nice long one this time, I think. There we go. And this is for my little raffle ticket butterfly. Stick that there. Get some other bit of sellotape. Oh God, I've lost the end again. Okay, I won't put you through this again, but you get the idea. Basically, we're putting little antennae on all the butterflies. This is the stage before we put the butterflies in their little butterfly case. Oh, there we go. Managed to get it in the end. Stick that there. give that a trim, you see. I actually think I trimmed too much off there, slightly annoying, never mind. That'll have to do. Okay, step 10. This is the really exciting bit, because now we're going to take our box, which we've painted black and we've lined in a coloured paper of our choice, and in this case we've stained it so it looks a bit antique, and now you have to fill it with your butterflies. I don't know which one to put in first. Okay, let's have. I made a few extras so I can. I've always been very keen on this one, as you can see. Make sure that the crease is really well creased. Gives it a really good three-dimensional effect. And then you get your glue. Oh, the glue's gone a bit dry. Get a bit more glue. Oops. There we go. Pour some glue onto a paper plate or into a little dish. And then, as you know, I like to use my fingers on the corners of the wings. And then make sure that crease is really creased. And then you're going to, probably can't see that very well, but I'll show you in a sec. Stick that into the box. So there we go. That's the first one. Make sure the little antennae are in the right position. There we go. That's the first one. Then find another one that's going to look good in there. Oh, that's my phone. I won't answer that now. Okay, so we're just repeating that for all the little butterflies. Now, obviously my butterflies, I think they were done rather hastily, so I don't think they're the best butterflies I could have done. But when you do yours, you can just spend lots of time making them really brilliant. That's quite a nice one, isn't it? I'll put that one in. I'm going to put 6 into my little butterfly case. So there's the first 3 going in. And which one shall I have now? That's a nice one. Put that in the middle. Mine aren't very colourful, but you might prefer to make yours a lot more colourful. It's really just down to you and your own taste. And your materials, of course. If you've got very colourful material, you're going to have more colourful butterflies, basically. Ooh, I can't decide which ones to put in. Here we are. Shall we try that one? Yep. Nice big one. And if you really wanted to, if you wanted to have labels for them, and pretend Latin names or something, based on what the pictures were that you'd used, but I'll leave that up to you. Oops, that one's not sticking very well. I think it's a bit heavy. I'll keep trying. And I need one more. Oh, which one shall I choose? I think I might choose this funny little one that I made as an experiment beforehand. Put some more glue on the back and stick it there. Stick that down. Now, I've really got to let those dry, but you'll basically see that that is sort of a lovely museum display case full of lovely butterflies. Labels. It's a new day and I'm in a different outfit, so that's the only thing that's changed really. Anyway, I've been looking at my little magic box of butterflies and I think it looks a little bit plain, so I've decided I'm going to put some labels in it, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Put my box to one side and I'm going to take an old magazine, because I like it when the labels look quite sort of discoloured and old and antique-y. I'm going to cut some little strips Then I'm going to look at some pictures of butterflies, and I'm going to make up some butterfly names to go with my little ones that I've made. So I think I'm going to call one of them the black and white pin-up. I don't have very tidy handwriting. Black and white pin up, but I'm sure if you have nice writing, it will look a lot better. So there, I've made a little label. I'm going to take my box and I'm going to, I think that's that bit big, so I'm going to trim that down and trim the end, and then I'm going to put a tiny little bit of glue on the back like that, and then I'm going to stick it, you can't really see, but I'm going to stick it in my box as a little label for the butterfly. Can't really do that holding it up right, so I'll show you at the end. There we go, my pin up. So I'm going to do some more. What should I call the one with the food on? I think I'll call it a food admiral. I think that sounds a bit like a red admiral. Food admiral. Same procedure. Cut and trim. Stick a little bit of glue. And I'm going to put that one, if you can see, stick that there, Food Admiral. That's that butterfly's name. Now this butterfly's got a sort of, it's got pink dots on it, so I think I'll call that the pink spot. That sounds quite butterflyish, doesn't it? Pink spot. I'll trim the thing. So while I'm doing this, have a look at your own butterflies and see if you can think of some funny names. They could sound like pretend Latin names. Oh, where's my pink spot? That was there, wasn't it? Oh, I've got to get the antennae out of the way. So I'll slip it under the antennae. It's the pink spot. And then I'm going to get on with the other three, and I'll show you the end results when they're done. Right, I've stuck my labels on my box. Try and hold it up and see if you can see it. I haven't got any good lighting in here, so possible that you can't, but I'll read you what I've got here because I've written them down. I've got the pin-up, I've got the Food Admiral, the one made out of the old recipe magazine. I've got the pink spot, which has got the pink spots from the nail varnish I used. I've got the tiger swallowtail, I called it, which is that one there. I've got the bridge butterfly made from the pictures of the bridge. And I've got the common building, which I thought sounded a bit like a butterfly. So anyway, the last thing I'm going to do, put that down there for a sec, and I've made a little label here. This is the Lockdown Butterfly Collection, and I'm going to put some glue on the back. I'm going to stick it on the front there, just flatten it down a bit. There we are. Now, I think that looks pretty scientific. What do you think? Top tip! Right, the last thing I'm going to say is if you're interested in collage in boxes, have a look at this chap, Joseph Cornell, who was an American who lived between 1903 and 1972, and he is absolutely the king of shadow boxes, he called them, collages in boxes, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And that, my friends, is the end.